let's take a moment together and just allow your eyes to close gently. Just allow your awareness to pull deeply inward. Normally, all of our attention is focused outside. Sights and sounds, sensations, smells. But allow the awareness to pull inward. And allow yourself to just take a moment and experience, be present with. What is it like right here, right now, in this very breath, as you? Don't judge it, don't try to change anything, don't analyze. Just bring a quality of full presence, an inner listening to the right here and right now of you. As you exhale, allow yourself to let go. Just let go of something else you're holding on to. An expectation, a grudge, an attachment, a story you tell yourself about who you are. A mask that you wear in the world. Just allow yourself, as you exhale, to send these back out on the out-breath, back out into the universe. Just let them go. And as you exhale and let go, notice that you're able to sink deeper and deeper into the core, the source of the self. If the mind wanders, don't worry. Just bring it back. If it gets distracted by some sound or smell or thought, it's okay. Just bring it back. And allow yourself to let go more and more on each exhalation. And sink deeper and deeper into the infinite source within. Connect with that source at the center of yourself, free from the roles, free from the grudges and expectations. Free from the stories and the drama. And just allow yourself to rest in that ever-expanding yet infinite source within. Gently bring the palms of your hands together at chest level and rub them gently against each other. Press the palms of your hands into your closed eyes. Slowly and gently open the eyes and lower the hands. Welcome to Satsang. So beautiful to be together with you all. How can we put an end to all doubts and questions? Faith. The only answer to doubt is faith. We all know people who are very cynical, very skeptical, even very suspicious. And it doesn't really matter what you say. They doubt it. Doesn't matter how much evidence you have. Doesn't matter how right you might be. They doubt it. Because their very nature is argumentative. The very nature is about non-acceptance. From a psychological side, you could say it's a defense mechanism. Doesn't matter what we call it. But it's that which keeps us separate from truth. And the mind is great at that. I mean, the mind is an incredible tool. It's a horrible master, but it's a great tool. It will give you all of the fuel to fuel that doubt. You want to doubt something, you want to be suspicious, you want to be skeptical and cynical, the mind is like right there with you, no problem. It's going to give you all the ammunition you need, all the energy you need, all of the ideas. Like, what else could you doubt? What else could you be suspicious about? It'll keep giving you that. It's very good at feeding you whatever you need to stay separate from truth, because ultimately that's the ego's agenda. The more separate from truth you are, the more united with the ego you are. And so the ego's happy. The only answer to doubt is faith. And that doesn't mean blind faith. It doesn't mean that we leave our common sense at the door. It doesn't mean that, if someone says to you, I'll do this for you, just give me all your money, or, it doesn't mean that we stop having common sense, that we stop having intelligence, that we just blindly believe anything and everyone. But what it means is that we have faith in the divine, that we have faith in an intelligence, a wisdom, a plan, a meaning, a supreme goodness in the universe and of the universe. And people identified ignorantly may certainly do things and behave in ways that are not benevolent, which is why we don't leave our common sense at the door, and why having faith doesn't mean that you blindly believe anyone and everyone, but it means you believe in God. And it doesn't matter what your religion may be, it doesn't matter what word you use. I know a lot of people have an allergy to the idea and the word of God. And that's all right. It doesn't matter. All that matters is that you realize and understand in the very depth of your being that there is an intelligence of this universe, and that intelligence is at its core kind, good. Yes, there is death. Look at nature. Yes, there is suffering. Look at nature. You watch any of those National Geographic specials and you see all of the zebras as they're running, and the lion, right, runs after them. And there's something about all of us that are like, go zebras, go zebras. And yet, we understand the lion also has to eat. The lion also has to feed his babies or her babies. And so an inherent goodness in the universe doesn't mean that there isn't death. It's the cycle of life. It doesn't mean there isn't suffering. The zebra certainly suffers when the lion catches it. But what it means is that in the cycle of nature, which we all go through in this human body, that ultimately the intelligence of this creation is both intelligent and kind. And that ultimately there is a goodness in and of the universe. And again, it doesn't mean that there are not people who, in ignorance, do not act out of that goodness. But it means that the universe itself, the energy of the universe, is there for you. That the universe is not out to get you, that rather the universe is there to support you. That we've been given so many different manifestations of, embodiments of the divine on earth in form for one reason and one reason only. Because the divine wants us to be brought from darkness to light. That's why, this is what Bhagavan Krishna explains so beautifully in the Bhagavad Gita, whenever there is darkness that's winning out over the light, or adharma is beating the dharma, evil is conquering goodness, I incarnate in form to bring back light to the darkness, to bring back goodness to the evil, to bring back dharma to adharma. So we have all of these beautiful divine manifestations who keep being sent to help us. And as long as there is faith, again, by any name, any form, any religion, any path, it doesn't matter. You could believe in the tree of your backyard as for you the greatest manifestation of the intelligence and perfection of nature. It could be the sunrise. It could be the stars in the sky. It doesn't matter what it is. But something that evokes in you the ability to know that we are being carried, that we are being nourished and nurtured, and that at its essence this universe is here to support us. And it's the only way for doubts to dissipate. Otherwise, if you try to deal with them all individually, rationally, scientifically, well, let's deal with this doubt by this proof and this doubt by this proof, they just keep creating more doubts when our nature is moving in that direction. So the only answer is change your nature. What do you achieve by doubting everything? Yes, we should, again, use our brains. But a tendency toward skepticism, cynicism, suspicion just clouds all of our experience in negativity and keeps us separate from the beauty of the divine. So find whatever you can have faith in. And whenever doubts arise, just offer it. Offer it to the divine. And then let yourself drop back into that state of knowing, of peace. Other questions? Yes. He's just bringing you a microphone.
How do we best use our spirituality to lift us or heal us from whatever pain or suffering we might be going through?
How to use spirituality to heal us from the pain we are going through? Many ways. First of all, spirituality teaches us we're not the body. So a lot of the suffering that we go through, we go through because of this false identification with the body. I identify as the body, its shape, its size, its color, its bank account, its career, its relationships, its history. And therefore, since I identify as that, I should be more beautiful, more wealthy, more successful, more popular, because if this is me, if I am the body, and I am my title and my role and my career and my amount of money or my popularity, well then obviously there should be more of it. I want more. It's never enough. And then you end up with jealousy, competition, a sense of never being enough, because we constantly look around and we say, oh my God, this one is so much more beautiful than I am, this one is so much smarter than I am, this one is so much more successful than I am, this one has so many more followers on Facebook than I do, this one, whatever it may be. We're constantly living in that level of suffering. So spirituality pulls us out of that. It also pulls us out of it on a deeper level, because a lot of times we suffer, for example, loss in our life. Loss of a loved one, through death, through divorce, through so many other ways. We suffer loss of dreams that we had. We thought we were going to achieve X, Y, or Z. Not happening. We thought we would be able to have this, not happening. We suffer loss of careers. We suffer loss of health. And at those times when we are connected spiritually, we realize, number one, again, I'm not the body. I'm not the relationship. I'm not the career. I am full and whole and complete. There's no part of me that is less due to this loss. Doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt, but that's a human hurt. And that's beautiful. It's beautiful. What spirituality enables us to do is to live on two different planes of existence. So, and to dance between them. So it's a dance between it is all divine, it is all perfect, it is all God, I am not the body, you are not the body, I am soul, you are soul. I am full and whole and purn, nothing I'm lacking, nothing I need. And on this very human level, there's poverty, and there's hunger, and there's environmental destruction. And because we are one with all of that, we suffer. We suffer the hunger of a child dying of starvation. We suffer loss when we lose loved ones. Or we suffer when our loved ones are suffering. And that's beautiful. Not that it always feels beautiful. There's a pain with it. But it's beautiful because it means we are alive and we are connected and we are human. And we are having the full spectrum of human experience. The ecstasy and the agony and everything in between. Because don't think you can have the ecstasy without the agony. But then we are able to dance back into, and it's all perfect. And it's all God. And then we see a starving child and we cry. And we write a check to some organization that feeds them, or we start an organization to feed them. We get on a plane and we fly off to another country to feed them. Whatever we do. because we're responding from that human heart. And then we remember it's all God. And that doesn't keep us from feeding people, because we recognize that both of these levels exist simultaneously, but we just don't get stuck in either one of them. Because if we get stuck in only I am this human story, then life is suffering. From what we would call the superficial levels of your jealousy and competition and, all of that, to deep levels of suffering at what's happening to our planet, suffering, the hunger and the poverty, the loss. And so we suffer and we're stuck. And it isn't fully true. It's true just on this human level. But spirituality enables us then to also shift into the level of, yes, I am this body. And this body, this mind loves that body, that mind, and that body-mind is suffering, and therefore I am suffering. Or I've lost that. Therefore I'm suffering. When we shift into the spiritual side, it enables us to see that, but to recognize I'm not the body. I have a body, but I'm not the body. I'm soul, I'm spirit. The one dying of starvation is soul and spirit. And it's all perfect. But you don't want to get stuck there, because it is our dharma to act. There is no one, no spiritual leader, master, guru, teacher of any religion I know of who would say, oh, no problem, let the hungry just die of starvation. No problem, let the poor be poor. There's a reason that all of the most enlightened beings are the ones who serve. Because along with the awareness that it is all perfect and it is all God, is a very deep appreciation for, celebration of, and conscious embodiment of this human existence. And so spirituality keeps us from being stuck in one or the other, and enables us to dance in between. And so when we feel like we're mired in the suffering of our humanity, we drop into spirit. And we remember that we are that which, as Bhagwan Krishna reminds us, cannot be burned by fire, cut by knives, dried with the wind, wet by water. We are that which is eternal, untouchable. It's all God. And then when we stop shedding tears over starving children, we realize it's time to dance back into our humanity, because we are supposed to shed tears over starving children. It's how you know you're still human. And we end up with this beautiful flexibility to inhabit consciously the truth of who we are as spirit, as soul, as divinity that is not separate from the supreme reality, perfect, unchanging, all-pervasive, and to inhabit and celebrate this beautiful human creation we've been given by the perfect divine. It's not separate from God. It is through the Creator that we are here. So we then embody that, and we enjoy a beautiful sunset with our eyes, or a sunrise with our eyes, and we dip in Ganga and feel how it feels in our body. We hug another being, we feel how that feels in our body, in our heart. We drink a cool glass of water on a hot day and feel how that feels. And we have this ability to dance consciously between both of the different realms. Other questions? Yeah.
Sadhviji, good evening. Pardon me for my ignorance, but I have a very simple question. That we all know that our destiny is part of our karmas, and all the sufferings or the blessings what we get in this life is coming in from those previous life karmas. Now the question I have it related to this concept, that a lot of time when we have those sufferings, so we reach out to those astrologers, healers, and so forth. So is it possible, first of all, to elevate those sufferings? That is one. Second is, if at all if we are getting healed or able to elevate those sufferings, are we not interfering those karmas or whatever divine plan what we have it? And third is, if some healer or any spiritual master is able to elevate our sufferings, is he or she is not interfering in her own karmas or our karmas or our divine plans?
Beautiful. So karma is not stagnant. Karma is a flow, meaning I do an action and it has a result. I may experience that result immediately. I may experience it this lifetime. I may experience it next lifetime. But think of karma instead. Think of them as threads. Individual threads, but they weave together into a tapestry that is your life. Now, where you are right now, your destiny as of this moment, yes, is determined by your past karmas, by what you've done in the past, your past actions. But what I do now is determining my destiny for tomorrow, next week, next month, next life. So if, for example, let's say that I have a karmic fruit that is coming to me from something I've done in a past life, and I go to a guru or an astrologer or a being and I'm suffering because of it, and they give me something, they help me through it, that's not interfering with it in a negative way. It's like, let's say, for example, that the fruit of some karma you did is that you broke your leg. And it may not even be from a past life. It may be simply the fruit of you not knowing how to properly ride a bicycle, getting on a bicycle, deciding that you were going to follow your 10-year-old son, who does know how to ride a bicycle, down a hill, and he goes and you go and you fall off the bike and you break your leg. See, the action was you getting on the bike. The fruit of that action is a broken leg. Now, you can't undo it. You can't go back and not get on the bike. You have to suffer the broken leg. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't go to the doctor and have an operation and get a cast. Having to suffer the broken leg doesn't mean you are now meant to just lie in the street for the next, year until your bone maybe heals itself or you die of an infection. With a broken leg, you go to the hospital. And the doctor sets it and it goes in a cast, and you still have some suffering. You're off your leg for the next 6 weeks, 8 weeks, whatever it may be. But we are absolutely not meant to just be victims of our karma and to not actively, proactively engage with it. It's the opposite. We are actually meant to continually, constantly co-create our own destiny. I always say this moment is the pre of that which is predetermined for you in the future. This is the moment where you are writing the pre. A lot of us, when we think about something being predestined, we think like thousands of years ago in some part of Akash, right? It was predetermined, meaning something you did prior to this very moment made it happen. This moment is the pre of all of your future moments, which is why we need to use them wisely. So, absolutely, do puja, pray, whatever you need to do, but here's something to remember. We're not praying to not have this karma or this fruit. Because remember, you can't undo it. What we are praying for is to learn whatever lesson it is here to teach us so that we may move through this moment and out of suffering. It's not, oh God, or oh surgeon, wave a magic wand and unbreak my leg. Oh Guru, oh Jyotish, wave your magic wand and undo my karma. It's not that. It's give me the wisdom. Give me the blessings. Give me the healing to go through this moment with wisdom, with openness, to be able to learn the lessons, to be able to peel back the layers of me that are blocking me from being one with God. That's why that which happens in our life happens, is so we can get closer to God. That's the ultimate goal. If life were a board game, the end of the game is oneness with God. The goal, like where you're going with the whole maze, the whole game, is oneness with God. And so all of the obstacles along the way, all of whatever you are experiencing, that which is pleasant, unpleasant, whatever you're experiencing along the way, you are experiencing it because that situation is the most conducive for you to get closer to God. So that's the question you should be asking the gurus or the Jyotish, is how do I get closer to God through this? Please give me that mantra that through this situation, I get closer to God. Beautiful. You had a question. Yeah.
I feel like your discussion, your preliminary discussion, I felt like I had already asked my question and you were answering it, but thank you.
I love that.
Yes, absolutely. And a lot of it was directed to me, I felt. But the specifics are that my sister died about 6 weeks ago, and I have not been able to grieve her properly. Like I can't access my sister.
Oh, okay. I'm so sorry.
Thank you. I can't access the feelings, and I've been able to access feelings for other people who have died that they're not as close as a sister would be. So I know I have the ability to do that, but and I do understand that because it's hard, it's going to come in its own time. But the source of my suffering is that I feel like I have a lot of, I'm worrying about my health, like almost like I know they're related, the fact that I can't grieve and the fact that I think I'm dying. Like everything is like, well, that's probably means you're going to die, and you're skinny, you can't gain weight, so you're probably going to die. And, you know, it's so related, and And I know it's my mind. I know it's not real, but it feels real. And so anything in your infinite wisdom that you can offer me to relieve my suffering or to explore this, even if I'm supposed to suffer now. I think what I need is suffering, grieving.
Could you all in the back hear her question? Could people in the back hear what she asked? Okay. So she was saying her sister passed away about 6 weeks ago. And she's not able to really grieve that, to have that suffering. And yet what she's got is a lot of fear, that she constantly feels like she's dying. That whatever it is must be a sign or a symbol that she's dying. Well, first of all, you are dying. We're all dying. That's the one non-negotiable truth. It's going to be from something at some point. And that's important to realize because, as you say, I realize it's just all in my mind. Well, yes, and coming to terms with the fact that we are dying is actually a really important aspect of life. So don't push it away as just, oh, that's in my mind. But you could look at it, notice it, and say, probably not at this moment, probably not of that thing. And, yeah, isn't it interesting, scary, sad, beautiful, however we may feel about it, to have such a finite number of years in this beautiful body? And allow yourself to feel that, because that actually is a truth. And of course, that truth has just become evident to you with the passing of your sister, who I have to imagine a year ago you would not have said she will be dead in a year. So the awareness that, yeah, chances are you're not dying of whatever your mind at the moment thinks you are. And, yeah, you're dying. And so it brings a level of preciousness into every minute and every moment of life. But it also pushes us into that place of what is there that isn't the body. If I am dying, well, I really better connect with that which isn't dying before I die. Because there is a huge aspect of you that isn't dying. And that may be, a beautiful place to begin in terms of connecting with your sister. First of all, realize there's no right way to grieve. There's just not a right way to grieve. Don't hold yourself up by some standard of what grief is supposed to look like. Simply allow yourself to have whatever emotion it is that arises when it arises. To just be aware of them, to notice them, to not push anything away. And to just watch them and to notice, there's sadness. And then, sometimes that sadness as a wave shifts, and the next wave is maybe anger. And then maybe that wave of anger shifts into a wave of joy, because as you were sad, suddenly that person's face appeared in front of you and you can't help but smile. And then it may shift again, and it'll just keep shifting, because that's what emotions do. They're really like waves. And yeah, sometimes you feel like you're being held underwater by a tsunami. But eventually even that wave too subsides. And what we do with these sorts of waves is the same thing we do with the waves of the ocean. If you're swimming in the ocean and a wave is coming, Well, you can't outrun it. You always can tell who are the new people on the beach or those who go in the ocean and try to outrun waves. Kids do it. Kids go wading in the ocean and a wave comes and you see the kid turn around and try to run back to shore. And of course the wave goes on top of the kid. You can't outrun a wave unless you're only 6 inches in the water. If you're out at any depth, that wave is moving faster than you are unless you've got a surfboard. And so what do you do when a wave comes? Experienced swimmers know. You dive down. Right? It's the only way to deal with the wave. It arises, and you just dive in. So whatever it is that is coming, you dive into it. Allow it. It'll pass. It'll go this way. You'll emerge on the other side. It'll happen for you. That wave will come. It may come as one big wave. It may come as a whole bunch of little waves. It may be both. Different times. But just like there's no right way to love, there's no right way to grieve. And it might be a really beautiful way for you to begin by knowing that there's so much of her that's still here with you. Instead of focusing on why you should grieve for that which you've lost, focus on the part of her that still is here, that soul, that spirit. If you close your eyes, can you still see her? You should be able to. But you just have to use the inner eye. If you're quiet, can you hear her? You just have to use that inner ear. When you go deeply within, can you feel her? You should be able to, because her soul is still here. Her spirit is here. And she's given you an opportunity to drop into your inner eye, an inner ear, an inner self. You used to be able to just use these 2 eyes to see her, and these ears to hear her, and these hands to feel her. But now she sent you inward. And as you connect with that within her which is still here, it'll connect you with the part of yourself that will never die. And so, as you have that fear of death, it'll simultaneously address that, because you'll be getting more and more deeper and deeper connected to that within you that will never die. And you'll meet her on that level, in that place, where you don't die. Have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful rest of your evening, everyone. A beautiful morning and day to our family joining us from all over the world online through this gift of technology. And I look so forward to seeing you all tomorrow.